The beauty of MMA or any individual sport in general is, yes, it is an individual sport, but you're surrounded by your teammates who all have a very similar goal in mind. You're all getting better together. And it may be you who walks into the cage or the ring at the end of the day, but you have a whole team, a whole army behind you that has supported you, has helped you train, has bled with you, sweat with you, cried with you. And that's the beauty of the sport is, yes, it's an individual sport, but you're surrounded by people with the same goal in mind and you're all working hard together to reach that. What's up, guys? My name is Brendon Raftery. I'm a striking and strength conditioning coach here at Steel MMA, as well as a professional fighter. So I got into fighting when I was really young. My parents put me in Kempo karate when I was 5 years old, and it just naturally progressed from there. I went into wrestling and started learning boxing and everything else, and I've just always been a fighter, man, at heart, so it was a pretty easy decision for me to stick with it. So yeah, I always knew I did 3 years of high school wrestling, and then after my junior year, I had the option to wrestle again senior year, but I knew I really wanted to dedicate myself to MMA, and so that's what I did. I decided not to wrestle senior year and really just dove right into MMA and got after it pretty seriously. I was 15 years old when I had my first MMA fight. We actually had to lie to the commission in Idaho and say I was 16 so that I was actually able to legally fight. So that was pretty funny, but yeah, I was 15 years old. I had my first MMA fight. The guy I fought was 22, and I kneed him in the head and choked him out in the first 2 minutes, so it was a good time. So I started with Kempo karate, and that's what really got me interested in just the striking arts and self-defense in general, and really just the discipline and the martial arts mindset that comes from being in karate so young and so early and just staying with it. It made it very easy to transfer in MMA. When I was with SBG, they have a lot of same principles that are used in traditional martial arts, which is just respect, and where it was a very technical school, and we weren't taught to just go hard all the time. It's a very cerebral system to where you're thinking, and that's what fighting is it's about thinking. It's not about who's tougher, who's stronger, who's bigger. It's a thinking man's sport, and the smarter man will win. The approach I take to training is always I'm trying to think of my opponent's weaknesses, and I'm going to exploit those. So I study opponent, I study film, I see what they do, I see what they're good at, I see where the holes are in their game, and I break that down, right? I'm not just in here smashing pads, and I'm not just mindlessly training. There's a thought process to everything I'm doing, and even when I'm training students, there's a thought process. I'm not just training just to be training, right? There's got to be a goal in mind, an ultimate end game. So that's the way I train, is I'm not just like, obviously you have to work hard, you have to push yourself to your limits, and you have to come in here and put in the work, but you also have to be smart. I'd say really the most influential coach I had would have to be my wrestling coach from high school, Pat Owens. He just really taught me work ethic, real work ethic. That was, to this day, high school wrestling was the hardest thing I've ever done, and it kind of made me who I am, and ever since then, I've carried that work ethic with me. And it just really taught me how to push and push and push. And when you think you can't go anymore, to keep pushing until you're just literally dead. And I really just want to thank my wrestling coach for that, because I've carried that work ethic with me ever since. So with that mindset, I expect the same from my students. I expect a student to work hard and give me his best every session, because if we're not giving your best, what's the point? We're not getting better, right? So that's all I ask, is someone who's patient, willing to learn, open-minded, willing to come in and put in the work. So throughout my career, I've had a lot of really good coaches who have instilled their knowledge in me, and I just feel kind of an obligation to do the same and pass on that knowledge that I've been so lucky to have taught to me. And I really just truly enjoy coaching. I enjoy teaching someone. I love the moment where you're able to correct someone's technique, or you're able to fix just a small adjustment, and then they're able to make that punch click or that kick happen, or the whole combination comes together and you see their face light up like a Christmas tree. They get excited, you get excited, everyone's happy. Like, that's a cool moment, because they get better and they're happy and they feel themselves get better, so they know they're making progress. And that's my goal as a coach, is to get you better and to watch you get better. With private training, I feel like I can always get more of a one-on-one experience, and I feel like we can make a lot more progress that way with personal training. Group classes are great to work on the things that are learned in private training. So we can, go up, have a 1-hour session between just you and I, and we'll tighten up whatever needs to be worked on. And then I would love to see them go into the group classes and use it, whether it's in sparring or light sparring or even just drilling, to see those technical changes that we've worked on in private training. So both classes have their pros and cons. I will always prefer one-on-one training when it comes to helping someone get better. I'll have more time and I can put more attention on the individual as opposed to when I have a group of students. My style compared to everybody else's, I'd say I'm a little more mobile. I like to use my movement as well as my hand speed. I feel I've always had an advantage in hand speed, and so a lot of my training and a lot of my teaching is based on boxing, hand speed, movement. I just believe in hitting and not getting hit. I don't subscribe to the philosophy of seeing how tough you are and standing in the pocket and slugging it out until one of us goes down. I think that's a very stupid way to fight, and it's gonna make for a short career, really, at the end of the day. So I'm very much about hitting, getting out of the way, doing damage, not taking damage. So again, speed, mobility, quick movements. If you watch MMA nowadays, you can see striking is evolving. We're not just standing in the pocket and banging it out, right? Guys are moving. If you watch guys like TJ Dillashaw, like Dominic Cruz, who's really the pioneer of this movement that you're seeing now, Cody Garbrandt, the champ, same thing. They're moving. They're not taking damage. They're moving their head, right? They're not just staying in the pocket with their hands up. You see a new style of striking being born and evolving, and I think that's the way that we need to train, and that's where the sport is headed. So we need to start training that way and change our paradigm as far as how we set up our strikes and how we move forward, changing stances, all of it, and not be so closed-minded, and really start to just broaden our horizons when it comes to changing our combinations, changing the way we move, and finding new things that work. My goals for myself, well, my ultimate goal is going to be that I'm going to be the UFC Bantamweight champion. And that's the main goal. That's always been the main goal. That's always the goal in sight. And of course, I set smaller goals for myself along the way. But realistically, I'm just trying to become the best martial artist I can become. And I want to grow as much as I can as a man, as a fighter, as a coach. That's why we do this. We have our goals as fighters, but we're all in here. We're all training. We're all doing this because we love it. We're all fighters at heart. We all have our own demons we're battling, and this sport is what lets us get that out. And so I'll always love fighting. And like I said, the goal is that UFC Bantamweight belt, and I will have it one day. If you're a beginner and you come in here and you don't have goals, maybe you're just interested in, you want to learn some self-defense, whether that's jiu-jitsu or maybe you do want to get into MMA down the line, that's fine. You got to start somewhere, so you don't even have to have goals. I always say, just come in and get started. Just get started. Come in, take a class, just get the wheels in motion, right? We can set goals later. If you're a new student, you're interested, just get in here, get working out, see if you like it, and then we can start setting short-term goals. Maybe that's, I want to take an amateur kickboxing bout, I want to do a jiu-jitsu competition, or I do want to have an amateur MMA bout. All of those are goals we can set, and then as we start progressing, we set bigger and bigger goals, right? But most of all, it's important to just get started. So stop thinking about when you're going to start, stop waiting for the right time, just come in here and start training. So if you are, say your time is limited, right, and you want to train and you have a job and everyone's busy, right? Everybody's busy. It's not like everyone's got a bunch of free time. We're in here every day because we want to be in here. So you have to find your why. You have to find why are you fighting? Why are you training? Find your why and make sure it's a good one, because that's going to be your motivator to get you in here. When you get off work, you're tired. You get off school, you're tired. I've been there, okay? And I've let those situations get the best of me a lot of times, where you have that voice in your head that's telling you, nope, stay home today. Like, we're tired, we worked all day, my body hurts, I'm sore from yesterday. You just have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Are you going to sit home and take it easy, or are you going to come in and work? And that's how champions are made, is pushing through the injuries, not making excuses for yourself, just staying in the gym, and I've learned that along the way. I didn't used to be like that. I used to be that guy who would let myself take that out, and my performances in fights would show it. And so now I've adapted the philosophy is I'm in here every day. I take this very seriously. So, you have to find your why, and that's going to be what gets you in the gym. Cause aside from my soul,